Moving on to public hearing 2.2. And this is going to be ordinance number 38, an ordinance of the City of Wildomar, California, approving superseding ordinance number 824 and number 24 to update its participation in the Western Riverside Council Transportation Uniform Mitigation Fee. At this time, I will open public hearing. Mr. Kashwagi.
Thank you. Mayor Farnham, members of the City Council, this report recommends adoption of the attached ordinance, which modifies the current TUMF fees, which is based upon an updated Nexus study recently completed by WRCOG. I think, as all of you know, the TUMF is a regional transportation development impact fee, which is very important, which is a very important revenue source to address the impacts that new development has on the region's transportation system. Since its adoption in 2002, over $500 million has been generated from new development for the TUMF network of projects that's identified in the Nexus report. There are a number of projects here in Wildomar that will be receiving some of these TUMF funds, and those projects are identified in Table 1 of your staff report. And then the new fees established by the revised Nexus study is shown in Table 2. As you can see that based on the revised Nexus study, the fees are being reduced slightly. The ordinance before you this evening has been provided by WRCOG to all TUMF agencies, and it must be adopted in order to enact the new fees. Since receiving the ordinance, we have also received a call from WRCOG because they do have a couple of modifications they want to make to the ordinance, and those modifications are provided in a errata sheet that was given to council prior to the meeting. But just for the public record, the first modification is on page 5 of the ordinance, and under section 4, they just want to eliminate the word fee from that, and the reason is it's redundant, somewhat redundant, because TUMF already has fee in it. The second modification is on the next page, page 6, under the temporary fee reduction period section, under item number 2, and previously this portion read, if reduced fees are paid pursuant to this section 4D at the time of application is made for a building permit, and they want to modify that and basically strike at the time of application, and in its place indicate that the fees are to be paid at issuance of the building permit. So the ordinance that you're taking a look at tonight will include those changes. If approved by the City Council tonight, this will require a second reading since it is an ordinance dealing with fees, and we will bring this back for the second reading at the next council meeting. And then once that is approved, then the new fees will go into effect 60 days after that date. And that concludes my report, and if you have to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kashwagi.
If I'm understanding this correctly, the reason for the reduction in fees is because it costs less to build now?
That's correct. Based on the new Nexus study, they reviewed all the project costs, and they have found that their estimates are now a little bit lower. So these reflect the lower cost estimates.
So this continues until we repeal it?
This isn't the 50% reduction. This is just based on their Nexus. They go out and look at the cost of construction. They update their Nexus what the costs are. This is just their normal every 4 years. Every 4 years they have to, by state law, go through and adjust those numbers accordingly.
Thanks.
So this will stay in place for 4 years?
It will stay in place until a new Nexus study is done, but per policy of WRCOG, they said that it shouldn't exceed 4 years.
Yeah, they could, you know, as you guys have been reading in the paper, I guess people are building bridges now for 50% less than what they did in 2004. If they see those costs going up, I'm almost sure they're going to do a Nexus again.
Well, Are we voting on these, on the ordinance and the resolution separately?
Yes.
So if I have a question on the resolution, I should say that?